watching this video. Good afternoon. December 11th, 3:58 p.m. Getting on a few minutes early so we can give people a chance. Ooh! Check out this. Check out this. Whoops. Wrong one. Oh boy, we made a mistake here. Good thing we've got time to repair this. Okay. 11,100 subscribers. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. Let's get organized. We're going to take it slow to get in this. Make sure we can get enough people here. There's no point of starting fast, the way I see it. Let's get them in. Make sure you're giving this video a like if you're hyped.
Let's set the tone, a bottle of red wine and pheromones. The conversation flows, a couple of hours, see how it goes.
We got tweets going out, we got emails going out. Great to see y'all here. Give me a howdy hi ho in the chat. Get comfortable, get your laptop or your desktop out, guys. This ain't no mobile phone sesh. Let's do it. See you, Kyle, Joven, Henry, Lone Hero, and many more out there. Thousands of you. Great to see y'all here. Cheers. We're just gonna give them some time to get ready. Yes, we're gonna do a Notion personal productivity workshop today. It's going to be at least a 2-day event. So if you can't make it tomorrow, no worries. It's all going to be recorded and left up on the channel. This is day 2 of the live stream sprint, the 12 days of streaming. Thank you so much for joining me. Just be patient while we get started here. I'm going to give them plenty of time. TPS, what's up? My man, this is good. This is an important skill I'm dropping today. And I just hope that at least one of you change your life with this information. It's serious stuff, guys. It's very serious. It's so serious we can't have any music behind this. Oh, looks like the chat is working on my screen as well. Props to me for figuring that out. Live streaming these days is always changing. The software, the tools, hard to keep up. Hard to keep those fine details up to date if you're not streaming often. And hey, like, I'm a strong believer of recorded content, letting people enjoy it at their own time, being internationally worldwide. Live streaming, it's 4 p.m. for me. It could be 2 a.m. for someone. It could be 6 a.m. for someone. They could be at work right now. They could be busy. So we got to use live sparingly. But I think this gives me an opportunity to truly beta test this concept and this idea, what I've created. It's just going to be an important skill set. If you haven't dived into Notion, the tool Notion, that's what we're doing essentially. And I know a lot of you haven't. It's so new. It only came on my radar about 6 to 12 months ago. It's like Evernote, if you've tried Evernote, but much, much better, at least in my opinion. To me, this is the number one tool for digital marketers and really anyone who wants to be productive. And they use things like content, they use projects and tasks. We're going to see how all of that fits together. I imagine we'll be here together for about 75 minutes today. That's my goal. I think we can get a lot done and there's no point of overwhelm. Like I said, I'm going to leave this content out so I don't feel pressure to finish it in one day. And I don't think it will do it justice if we rush it. You know, it's a quieter time of the year. We're getting into week 2, almost week 3 of December. Things are slowing down. It's a great time for people to learn a new skill and take that into 2021 with them. So I think we can get started here. I'm not going to answer any digital marketing questions today, unfortunately. I'd like to get focused on the workshop. I have 12 days here. You'll have a lot of chance to discuss with me specific digital marketing situations. So please hold your questions on digital marketing. Now, with that said, I think we're ready to get started. My fellow commanders, that's what you're going to become, a commander. I used to call it a command center. And you know, if you've ever seen any sort of Star Trek or futuristic kind of realms, Minority Report, you see these digital command centers. And I really like this. And I think that, you know, I want to start by saying, like, I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day. That's not what I really want. Certainly, it's a necessity. And I think that when we have a computer dedicated to our business, and it can be a mobile computer, it can be a stationary computer, it doesn't really matter. You ought to invest some time in optimizing your workspace, not only physically, but the digital elements. And when you get into your workspace, how can you efficiently finish the tasks you want? Just think of your grandmother or grandfather. How long it would take them to even execute an email because they don't have the processes built in. Think of the time it takes to get the app open, to get the execution done, to review. You want to be the opposite of that. You want to be a dynamo. You want to be laser fast. Okay? And that's what this is going to help you do, is put more of what's important to you at arm's reach. Okay? When you do something over and over again, such as write a blog post, upload a video, start a new project, your daily routine, your daily set of websites you need to review, whatever it is, as soon as you realize you do something on a daily basis, you must go into the mindset of, okay, it's okay to do this for a few days and even a few weeks and even a few months to understand what I'm doing. I should make notes of what I'm doing. I should not be a perfectionist about what I'm doing because I'm learning, and trial and error is so valuable. But after you've understood it and you really start to do the same thing over and over, you want to make a list of what that is. and you want to be able to access that list easily, and you want to read that list easily and follow that list easily, as easy as possible, right? And what that also leads into is the beginning of truly processizing your business. For those of you who read the book E-Myth, great entrepreneurial book, highly recommend it. The entrepreneur often struggles because they have no organization process, because no one really teaches you that. Maybe if you get an MBA, you'll learn that. Maybe if your parents taught you because they had a business, but rare, that's so rare. So it's good that someone's out there teaching this. Now, I'm not the first. By no means am I the first. There's been people teaching personal productivity for 25 years plus. I remember reading blogs in the early 2000s about productivity. Well, what's interesting is this isn't actually about productivity. We're all actually quite productive already. Like, the average person today is quite productive compared to the average person 30 years ago. What we're actually doing now is we're at the evolution of actually not just doing what we need to do and being productive. We're actually at the part where if we can gather knowledge, we can experience things and we can document that, we can create the ability to repeat things very easily. We can create the ability to do more different things without feeling that pressure of remembering everything. You can dabble in multiple things because you have the clarity of the information that makes up what you understand and what you do in that thing. No one's forcing you to do this. No one cares if you do this. No one's going to check up on you. You sort of have to begin the mindset of, I know that there's other people out there who have these sort of personal productivity things. I don't really have one. Maybe it's time I spend a good 20 hours, see where I get to, and see if I'd like to incorporate that in my life. You have to be committed to the system as it develops its quality a little bit over time. The system I'm going to be sharing with you, I've already used it for 3 solid months, and it's really just a variation of something else I used for as at the beginning. I started creating my own command center from day one. I figured out how to do that. It made a lot of sense to me because I already used Evernote and Workflowy. But when I decided to teach everyone, I said, okay, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to optimize it. And I'm going to get rid of the stuff I don't really use. So what you're getting today is exactly what I use. All I can say is if you like what I do and you like the pace of things I go at, you should do what I do. I can't speak to what other people have accomplished with Notion. And I'll say it right now, I don't use formulas. You don't need to know any coding formulas to do the level of what I do. I think that's too hard. I think it's fabulous that they have that, but to truly be organized around projects and goals, you don't need that. I'm going to teach you something very, very simple. And what's important is that you can build your own variations as you go. That you're going to walk away from this workshop in 2 to 3 days, understanding what it means to database your brain, what it means to database your life, and what it means to review your life in bite-sized pieces in such a way that you can make progression nearly every single day. Let me tell you how simple it really is. Imagine each year you accomplish 10 projects. Let's make it easier, 12 projects. Let's make it even easier, 6 projects, 1 project every 2 months. That's very easy to think about. If you knew that each project had 60 tasks, 12 projects, 60 tasks, right? 720 tasks in total. If you told yourself, cause and effect, if I complete 6 projects in this year, I feel pretty confident I will get closer to my goal. And that's all that really matters in life, is that you get closer to your chosen goals. The goals which must be selected based on the pillars of your life, which we're also going to go into and reflect on Ikigai. Progression daily is all that really matters. Anyone will figure that out. Anyone can tell you that. It's proven. In fact, it's as simple as being 1% better each day. In 70 days, you're twice as good. And when you get into owning your own digital assets online, doubling isn't crazy. Isn't that cool? Think of having a job in the 90s. Maybe you worked at the record store. Maybe you worked at the cafe. Doesn't matter. You can't progress. You're limited by your scope. You're limited by the supply and demand of the hours you work. When you get into digital assets, when you create one piece of content, that plays out for years. So if you could figure out a way to increase the volume of that, there is absolutely no reason you won't eventually double the amount of money you make today. I'm already at quadrupled since when I kind of started and shifted from like job mentality of like, okay, 60,000, that's average, 50,000, okay. From when I made that, I'm already quadrupled because you can just keep doubling. Why, Rich? That doesn't seem possible. Why can you keep doubling? No, I don't believe you. Okay, that's fine. It is hard to believe when you have the older mindset. I agree. But most people cannot comprehend the scalability of what it is we do. And if you can add in personal productivity, I guess you kind of become a superhuman for 2021. You are the most valuable asset because not only can you execute, you can direct and you can ensure the project is victorious and successful because you know with a system, you will systematically achieve what it is you set out to do. This is what you're going to learn today. So if you're hyped up for that, put a 1 in the chat. Tell me that you're hyped up. You want to learn how to be more productive. You want to see what you're capable of, and you're willing to be patient with yourself for a bit. This is a little bit of a learning curve. Databasing your brain is a bit of a learning curve. The difference between Notion and Airtable is that Airtable is purely databases with apps as a subset of the database. Notion is more of a free-flowing content design platform that has the ability to database that content. I think that's a stronger set of features. I also use Airtable, but for more things that are purely automated, like tracking payments, tracking people, tracking students, like just mass database. Notion gives you a database so that you can smartly categorize things in an easier way. Good. Jesse, good to see you. Jeff, good to see you. Taylor, glad you're taking the time. Sarah Jade, welcome. This is good for you too. Even if you take away 20% of what we do in this workshop, you will be better off. This is a life-changing workshop. It's already changed mine. And I've documented every single thing I've done because it's right there. The proof is in the current status of the command center. So I'd like to build a community, a little sub-community within Rich and Niche of commanders. People who are going to adopt this system and continue to give me feedback and Hopefully you're in my forum because you've purchased my courses. And I think that's great. I think a group of commanders who see digital marketing and Notion as a pure link, very important for us going forward to see eye to eye. And I hope to persuade you over the next 3 days, 2 days, we'll see how far we get, that this is worth it. That's enough hype talk. Let's get it going. Notion Workshop. Let's do it, baby. Intro to COMMANDR. Intro to COMMANDR. Welcome to COMMANDR, an operating system for overwhelm. Command your time, command your mind, command your value. Productivity, mental fitness, personal economics. This system is designed by an entrepreneur, a content creator, a community leader, and someone whose Clifton strength is maximization. My number one rated strength is maximization. Take that for what you will. What you can expect is a system that is effective yet intuitive. It would be silly if I just gave you the most complex system that's like overly featured. Okay, we cannot go too far with overly technical applications, or you will not be able to build or utilize the system. You will get tired of it. You'll ignore it. I know it. It must be intuitive. Now, what you see here is a course. And if you go to richaniche.com/COMMANDR, you will have access to this spot right here. I really hope I've set the permissions correctly. Yes, publicly you can allow comments and duplicate the template. This is yours. This is that moment in Tron where he releases the software to the world. Take this with you, guys. It's scary out there. You're going to need it. So what's inside here? I was just in the intro. Okay? Included with the system is a course. I'm going to kind of be doing the course live for you today, because in a few weeks, this will be done and people from around the world can just come and take this course recorded. So this course will show you how to build a dynamic personal productivity dashboard in Notion. If you don't have a Notion account, richaniche.com/Notion, doesn't even matter, notion.so. I got so many affiliate credits from Notion. They blocked me, those idiots. So don't even use my link. Don't even use this software. Who starts an affiliate program and limits the amount of sales you can get? That's insane. It's absurd. Foolish, foolish, foolish. Anyways. This languaging here is not up to date. I will be providing ongoing updates. Okay, so for now, we're at COMMANDR 1.0. Start the course. Now, we don't need to see this. You can visualize this if you want. From this moment forward, do I look good? Yeah, I look all right. From this moment forward, I will teach the course as if you just started with Notion. Let's get started. So you can go to richaniche.com/COMMANDR with no E at the end, the way I'm spelling it, the branded way. And you can get all this later. Don't focus on that right now. What I recommend you do at this moment is remove all distractions and commit yourself to the rest of this period to observe. I then recommend you try and replicate it or rewatch the live stream after. This is not an entertaining stream as much as you may already be enjoying it. This is a highly educational stream. It is going to be purely technical from here on out. You must learn the skill set building blocks here first. I'm assuming you don't even know what Notion is. I'm starting with a blank account. Okay. Intro to Notion. Welcome to the Notion platform. What you're looking at on the left is sort of the settings and where all of your workspaces will eventually be found. In the right, this is the work area, starting with a title and a lot of options. By the end of this course, I'll show you which options really matter. One of my favorite things to do, first of all, though, is to go into settings and turn on dark mode. My eyes, they just work a little bit with dark mode, and I prefer the look of dark. I think it's easier to see things. The one downside to this is if you ever export the PDFs and you've been like using yellow as a color because it looks good on dark, when you export the PDF, they're exported in light and therefore yellow doesn't look as good. But that's only for those exporting PDFs, which is another incredible feature of Notion. What is Notion? It's a complex, what you see, what you get editor, meaning everything you see here is how it exists. And I'm just going to close this area so that we can see more clearly here. I'm just going to put in some basic stuff to get started. Okay, so this is just going to be called a basic entry. Okay, you see it has a title. And when I start typing, it removes all of that information, right? So when you come in, it's trying to help you get started. But this is quite overwhelming. You're not going to really comprehend the power of databases when you first get started. When you first get started, you learn things about, typing basic sentences. And that's it. And you're like, oh, cool. This is a great note-taking device, right? Awesome. And as you go, what you start seeing is a few things. When I hover my mouse over the plus sign, I can add something different below. For instance, maybe I want to add a heading. Right? Maybe I want to add a subheading. So you can start selecting things, which is really cool. But then each block, as they're called, which is represented by 6 dots, can be dragged around. And also when you single click, you get some options. You can delete. You can duplicate. Okay, let's delete now. You can turn into a something. Everything can be turned into something different, which each block has that ability. That is a very unique feature. So maybe it was just a bunch of text, but then you want to grab them all and turn them all into toggles. Maybe they were each their own individual subset of information. See how fast that was? And we can go right back to something else, including individual pages, which are hyperlinked into a secondary page. So this is where it begins. This is what I first saw was fantastic. Oh, if I can hyperlink pages with ease, I can create my own knowledge base. And this is the same as Evernote, basically. It's not that much different. But why I prefer this is all of the additional features. This is where it matches Evernote. Here's where it goes above and beyond against Evernote in the simple things. Each thing, each block can have its own icon. You can use that for fun, but you can also use that for project management. You can use that for signaling. You can use the X's and the check marks. Okay, so that's just a nice subtle feature. As well, I can change the color of the text. That's something that wasn't available in Evernote, and that's what I call a beautifying element. Beautifying is important. When things look good, we're more likely to enjoy them and spend time with them. And if we keep them clean, we take more pride. Imagine you had a nice car, right? Versus a kind of a shabby car. When you make that mindset shift, you really care about it. You put some more effort into it. This has some fine details, which I really enjoy. So to be clear, today we're not really going to be building that much of the actual COMMANDR system as much as we're going to be learning the individual blocks that lead up to that. So these first few chapters, so to speak, you're really just learning the basics. And I think it's a good refresher for people because I'm sure, like me, you've been dabbling in Notion and you're getting by and it's working. But what you can see is a professional, someone who's using it in a more professional environment, what elements do they use to optimize? So even these basics, it's pretty important. Great to see you all here. So this is a live recording. We're live now, will be recorded. Let's talk a little bit more about Notion and some of its cool features. One thing I really like is the ability to shrink the text. You can change the font as well, but I prefer the default. You can also go full width. I think that's nice. Here's something else. Each individual page has incredible sharing options, whether it's inviting a person as a guest to any single page or even sharing to the web and allowing search engine indexing. There are people writing blogs with Notion, and there are people building entire websites out of Notion. Because it's so much faster and what you see is what you get, and it's collaborative, there are some good reasons to build a website in Notion. Now, you lose most of the aesthetic appeal of a custom designed WordPress or Webflow website, but speed matters in this game. And sometimes I see companies putting things like their job posting up on Notion, and then it's just a link to all their posting. Within each posting is more info. And guess what? You can integrate lots of things in here. You can embed forms. You can embed Miro whiteboards. There is a lot of interesting integrations. When I click the plus sign, I didn't scroll down yet to show you all of the different things that you can add. These are the databases, but look at these ones. Embed a video. Those of you in my academy know I love embedding videos in Notion so I can give you a direct link to the content right then and there. I've said on previous YouTube videos, like building courses in Notion is kind of cool. The problem is you have to individually invite people if you want it to be private. You can embed Google Drive files. You can embed tweets, Figma files. Many of you might use whimsical boards, InVision, frameworking projects. You can embed a PDF, a Loom video. Many corporations and companies should be documenting their entire business's SOP, going into Loom, recording those videos, have all of the video information there. Video isn't just for marketing. It's also for business process, type forms, okay? You can also do table of contents, which is really cool. And this one, the template button, is going to blow your mind. We're probably going to get to it either later today or early tomorrow at 4 p.m. This is a fascinating feature and you're going to love it. And if you haven't touched it yet, you haven't even begun to know the power of Notion and staying organized. Okay. I think that's enough for the general intro to Notion. For more, I recommend you go to Notion and watch their tutorials. They will break down each individual feature. The reason you would start with me is to cut out the things you don't need. They have to share some features that we're not going to be using. Not everyone uses Notion the same. All right. I'll take a few questions if you've got one about this. I'm going to just take a pause here, and then we're going to get more into some tutorials. And Anastasia, if you're watching this recording, you wouldn't include this. You would cut the highlights around these little breakpoints and just save me the core teaching elements. Great. Is Notion a legitimate business? They are heavily funded. I believe they've already raised 100 million. Great question, though. 2 billion valuation. Are they legit? Come on, guys. Do you think I would call a non-legit tool the #1 tool for digital marketers? My goodness. My goodness. You don't trust me. Notion hits 2 billion valuation. Guys, this is a gift from the gods. Don't question it. Great. Good to see Anastasia's here. Let's continue on with the next chapter. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the features that are pretty beginner, but are really going to extend your Notion experience. This is going beyond the basics. Okay. I already showed you full page mode. I already showed you dark mode. The next thing I'd like to show you is columns. What's really awesome is I can drag this over here and create a new column set. Whoops, I'm clicking into those blocks. Let's actually change these back to text so we don't do that. And now I can type over here. Notice what happened. You have to understand how to correct this. What's happening is that these, as you can see, they're blocks. Can you see how the highlight of the block goes across the whole page? These are technically not in the column. So I would grab them like this by highlighting them and drag them up under this column. That just seems to be how the software works. So that's something to know about columns. Guess what? I'm pressing Control D to duplicate. That's a very common Control D. And I'm just going to make more columns. You know, there is no limit, which is a fascinating, powerful feature. And this is sort of how we get the concept of the command center. Because Evernote was never a command center. I never felt that. I never felt like, ooh, I feel like I can do anything here. Now I can hyperlink, I can have a page, I can pull up database information. Note how I have subheading 1 out of order. If I grab them all with a click and drag, I can just drag it over here as a group. Everything is movable in Notion. Okay? I've already told you about colors. There's 2 types of colors. There's the direct text color, and then there's the background-based text color, giving you a different style. It's kind of nice. I appreciate that. I definitely like having both. I think this highlights. I think this separates. You can look at it both ways, but these to me make good sort of topic headings. What do you guys think? So that's colors. Colors are simple. You either grab the block and you set the color, or, and this is important, you highlight the individual word, and in the text editor, you can also grab color. Why is that important? Well, let's say you had a toggle list, and I love toggle lists. Toggle lists are the best way to put lots of information away and keep it more organized. We're definitely going to be using that feature. But note what happens when I select the color of a toggle and use background. It sets the background for the whole toggle, right? So you got to be aware if that's what you want. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's not what you want. And what you'd prefer is to highlight this all and set it individually as green, and or set it individually as green background, not the toggle block itself. This is what the beautifying elements really going far here. Keep our command center very clean and good looking. The next thing you need to know is how page links work. Let's say I have a page over here called Project Management. And when I turn this into a page, I can now click in and do more in here, right? I'm going to go back. I can either click up here through the breadcrumbs. I can click back. And can I also... No, unless I create a backlink. Okay, that's fine. That's beyond this. So 2 ways to go back. Clicking in the thumbnail or clicking your back button. Or you could say, put project management as a favorite at the top right, and it would show up now over here on the left as a favorite. Useful? Sometimes. Notice how when I highlight this block, it's a block. It goes all the way left to right. And I can move it as a block. But what if I wanted to do a different kind of link? And instead of taking a whole block, I wanted to leave a note. Make sure you check out the project management page. Now, if I wanted to link it before, and this is a new feature, I would go up here, click the dots, and click copy link. And when I put it down here and right click and paste, you see the link of that page shows up. If I dismiss, it stays as this link and it still goes to that page. But if I paste this again and I choose mention page, there's a little link here and it shows you this is the real page. This is just a mention. If I do that one more time and paste again, but I choose link to page, notice the difference. Well, first of all, a little feature bug just came up. Because I linked to the page in the same column and page, it actually combined it. The point of what I'm trying to show you is that I can type on this one. On this one, I cannot type. What is the difference? This is a page link block. This is an inline page link. For when you want to mention it, what you can do is use @ and then start typing project management, and you get an inline link to any page. So that allows you to have a link in the middle of a sentence when you are doing the work. It's like a way of telling someone which page at an exact moment. It's very good. I'd like to create a few more areas so we can show a few more intermediate elements. Let's also create a page called personal goals. And again, I can simply turn any block into a page by going to turn into and then selecting page, or I can choose turn into page. And then there's some different things. I can either add to a page or add as a subpage. Let's see what happens in both. Let's click add a subpage. It created a new page for me. Here are my goals. 1, 2. Let's go back. Let's do that again. Let's click the plus sign. Let's call this personal goals. And let's go turn into page and let's click add to page. Didn't seem to do much difference. So I think you really have some choices when you're in Notion and you develop your own style of doing things. Some people might click plus page and then they might set the title here, right? Notice I was typing, setting the title, and then turning that text into a page. You can do both. Again, I want to copy my project management link, but this time I'm going to go into objectives and I'm going to paste it here and I'm going to link to the page. And again, I want you to notice that this arrow means it's a link. Whereas over here, there's no arrow. This is the actual page. If I delete this and go back to objectives and click on this, It tells me it's in the trash, and I can restore it if I want. Okay. Let's say I'm in personal goals and I want to share that with my partner or anyone else who needs to know. I just go up to the share button and type their email in, and they will get an email saying that someone shared a Notion file with you. And you can either allow them to view, comment, or edit as a guest for free. If they comment, the comment feature is on the right, and I can't see it right now. I can add a comment up here, but I believe those users can add a comment to any block. So this is where you can have like a conversation about this specific page. And you can resolve things, meaning we don't need to see that anymore. I think this allows you to do so much. I think you could go very far with what I've showed you already. Mainly because it's enjoyable to do what we're doing. It's fun to make things colorful. It's fun. You can add emoji in line. Most people don't even know that. That's a newer feature. They're going to add so many incredible features over the years. This looks beautiful in iPad and iPhone. And the new iPhone, iOS, allows you to put those blocks. Look, there's my COMMANDR. I can go one click into my COMMANDR. Don't you want that too? Don't you want to be at your command anytime you need it? Put some ones if you're following along with me and feeling comfortable so far. Put a 2 if you feel lost. And I'll answer a few questions while we transition. I use this with every single client. I don't share it with them in most cases. It's too complex for a non-user to really get, but I may show it to them in a Zoom call. I may save it for them. I may duplicate it for them. I may invite them on a case-by-case basis, but oh, you absolutely want to have one for each client, and I'll show you how to do that. Making the columns is very easy. You can grab any block, 6 dots, and just drag it to the right side of any other block. And it highlights this little blue line indicating where you're adjusting things. Excellent question. Oh, wow. It looks like everyone's doing very well. Good for you. Okay, let's begin with the next video. You're now going to learn about tables, which are completely different from anything you just watched relevant to Notion and page building, linking, colors. We're getting into the world of the databases now, and I really want to take my time here so you can fully comprehend what's happening. Why do you use a table? Well, primarily to keep more organized, right? If we have a lot of information, like 50 pieces of content, 50 emails, 50 websites, 50 clients, like that's a dangerous amount of information. And databasing not only allows you to organize that information, it allows you to reach certain subsets of information at certain times when you want it. And it also allows you to cross-link different kinds of information, which unlocks some unique capabilities of calling other information at will. Meaning, with one click of a button, with linked databases and tables, you might be able to pull entire client records. You might be able to pull everything you need about a project and relevant to its information. And you'll see what I mean by that as we unlock a few of the integrating elements here. Let's just start out here by building a very basic table by clicking the plus sign. Now you can always start typing. Sorry, if you want to start typing, press slash and type slash table, slash page, slash heading. Okay, you definitely start doing that after a while. Slash table, notice these two key options, inline, full page. We're going to make both of them, and we're going to start with inline. And it's going to put this little table here, and we're just going to call this our first table. And now, why don't we put a few names in here? And why don't we just imagine that, actually, let's call this, our clients. How about we do that? And we're going to just put a few names in here. Tim Thomas, Brad, Boston, Corey, Counter. Random stuff. And now let's put some information. Now notice over here, when you're in a column, you have a bunch of different columns that you can use. Now this is where things can get overwhelming. Okay. But the first thing you might want to know about is the selector. When I pick selector, what can happen is I can create tags very easily and separate these different people. And I can go into the tags, configure them, and I can easily change their colors and change their order. Okay, this is the basics of your first table. Let's create some other elements that are unique and try and do them all. And what we're also going to do is go into the full width so we can see more. Right? So imagine it's not all clients, it's all contacts. Guess what? You can also change the top of each column with ease. I'm just clicking in and typing. Let's do a few more types of columns and add more information. Date. Let's call this date added to database. Let's just put today. And I'll put one of them last week. That's a date. Did you notice how when I click, you get the calendar? It's important to use the right column type for the right type of data. Let's add some more. Let's add a person. We could use a variety of things here. We could actually link the person in the contact, but that's not always the case that you're doing contacts. We could do like sales rep, right? And then we could enter the person who is the sales rep for that client. Okay. You can always highlight any cell, Control C, Control V, cut and copy, paste. I want to get a few more types of columns in here so you can fully understand the types of columns here. Here's just a simple checkbox. Maybe you finished, maybe you didn't. You want to know, did I send them all the materials as a new contact? You can add an email. The more information you add, the better. And you'll see why in soon. We'll be in other tables and we can call up Tim Thomas and we'll get all of this info if we want it as well. That's part of what's great. That's not all that's great. This is still very basic table building. Let's see what else is inside. URL. Maybe their website should go here if they have a relevant website. Phone. Okay? That's a simple contact table. Now, remember, when I first did this, I selected inline table, which means I can drag it around. I can put other information on this table. If I come back and I create tables 2, and I turn that into we'll do it like this. If I press the plus sign and I go to tables and I choose table full page, it takes the full page and I cannot add any other information. It keeps it as a pure table. And that's often what you want. Okay? Any table can be exported right here as a PDF, HTML, or Markdown and merged with a CSV. There's a lot of exporting options. You'd want to know that if you're asking about tables. So note the difference. Inline table can be dragged around. It's more for impromptu tabling. What you really want are the full page tables. What's cool is I thought I could turn it into a full page from here, but I guess not. No problem. No problem. So what I might want to do is unfortunately, you cannot, it appears, go from an inline table to a full page table. And that's fine. We're going to have to create those again anyways. But what I want to start showing you here, and I'm going to work in full page tables for the rest of the time, is how information can link up. Okay? So I'm actually going to start a new page. We're going to begin again. Now that you know those features, I'd like to start putting some things together that will actually be useful for you. Currently at the 55-minute mark of this recording overall, we're going to probably go another 30 minutes. This is a transition period at this moment. If you want to ask me any questions, go ahead right now. I believe I answered your question, Jeff. What we're going into next is called relational databases. Hope you're all doing well today. Let me take this time to let you know I've got a sale going on at richaniche.com. All my courses, 33% off. Use the code BRIGHTWINTER for 33% off. Okay, we can keep going here. I'm feeling okay. Hope you're with me. You've really learned a lot about the tool itself. You could do so much on your own, but will you know how to create a command center yet? Maybe not. The next part is how we link information and then how we can view that information in a non-overwhelming way. Remember, this is an operating system for overwhelm. It has some principles. We're going to learn them as we go. And it has the ability to reduce overwhelm through reduction of task visibility. Okay, let's begin the next chapter on relational databases. Let's start creating a bare bones command center. And the way we do that is first and foremost going to full width. Your command center, you're going to want to take up the full page. Now, I'm on a 24-inch monitor. I'm on a PC. I've got a full keyboard in front of me. This is serious business. You know, project management and command center, it's not really meant to be made for your phone, although you can access it on your phone, which I enjoy. Let's call this Commander 1.0. you have to invest some time in the initial databases. And so what we're going to do for the rest of the day is we're actually going to build a project, a common project, a project that you all might enjoy doing, the best one I can think of. And we're going to actually lay out a lot of the tasks. Now, unfortunately, this isn't really critical for the course. What's critical is that we have some real data to work at so that when you look at what I'm doing, it makes more sense. When I did some of the alpha testing for this program, I really was light on the sample data, and I felt that the concepts might have fallen a little flat. So you're going to have to allow me a few extra minutes to develop some of those tasks. In exchange, I'm hoping I can show you how to sort of plan out a really important project. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to simply start with some text that says all databases. Okay, we can't start until we create a collection of all databases. And what are the common databases we might want to create? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Goals, objectives, projects, tasks, notes, contacts, services, reports. These are a good set of initial databases that we're going to create. So the way we're going to do that, and we're going to start with projects. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the plus sign next to projects, and I'm going to turn it into a full page table. And I'm going to type here, all projects. Let's go back to the main page and see what happened when we did that. Well, it turned into a link, and when I click that link, I go back into the full table. The reason you don't put this in an inline table at this time is because you want it quiet and clean. A table is going to create all these lines and restrict you from columns. Okay? Once you're into all projects, let's create a project. And we're going to call this project online course. And the first set of tags I would want to create for almost everything is a status tag. And it's going to be a single select. Notice you can do multi-select or single select. In most of our cases, we're doing single select because we want to know exactly what it is. And the clear statuses that you should know are to do, in progress, complete, on hold, future, up next. These are all different tags I've discovered are useful. Something I need to do. But is it up next? Up next signifies a priority. It's not being done yet, though. In progress means you're actually doing it. On hold means something stopped it. Future means you're thinking about it. And complete means complete. Now, what I would do is I would come into the configure options, and I'd probably put these kind of in order. And I would probably change the colors. I think complete should be green. I think to do should be red. I think in progress should be yellow. Everything else, I don't really care. But those are the common three: to do, in progress, complete. I'm actually going to just delete these rows for now for clarity. What else might we have with a project? Well, the next one that comes to mind is finish date. By when. By when is a very common terminology. It means by when will you finish this? I'm going to finish this course by December 31st. Great. You can always adjust the columns when you know they don't need a lot more space. It really cleans things up. What else might you have with a project? Maybe project manager, and you want to select who. Maybe it's just you. That's fine. But as soon as you start adding other people to your system, you can tag any of them. That won't tag them, though. That just signals to you which Notion user has been linked. If they're in the file, it perhaps may create a notification. Let's quickly look at what's remains and what we might want to add for projects. Nothing else really sticks out to me at this time. So we're probably going to just hold there. Now, when you do a project, you want to be a bit more specific than just online course. And we're not really at the COMMANDR build-out phase. I'm still just trying to ease you into table development and show you a little bit more about project management at a basic level. Because not everyone learns this stuff. And although I learned on my own, because I've done so many projects, I just feel really confident in sharing what works. Note, when you're in a table, there are some important elements here at the top. When you're under properties, you can hide tables if you want. You can make things more clean because as time goes on, you may want to link other information here, and this can become quite extended. Filter, you can start doing things like add a filter, select something like status, and I only want to see what's in progress. Notice how that happened. Now, if I go to do, it switches. We're going to be doing some of that as we go for sure. That's all about reducing that overwhelm of all that other stuff you're not thinking about today. You might want to keep track of it, but it's not for you to look at today. So filters are very important and they're easily to remove and add and group. You can use and or logic here, and I'll show you some of those elements as we go. Sort, just simply like which column do you want to sort by? And do you want it to be ascending or descending? That is most of it. Wrap cells. Watch what happens. If I put like some sort of text here and I type a bunch of information, you see how it created a second line? Some people don't like that. You can turn that off with wrap cells because they want the cells to look uniform. I get that. It all depends on the usage. You can add a column easily left or right. And you can also hide columns with ease. I don't want to hide this. I'd like to delete it. Let's put a few other projects here just so we can have some sample data. All right. Let's call this actually an ebook. Okay, we've got some sample data in there. Thanks for bearing with me. An online course, an ebook, and setting up an email list. Those are the 3 projects this person has. Okay, great. You're organized. You know what projects to do. Is that what this is all about? Not quite yet. The next level that makes sense to learn are the tasks within the projects. And then we're going to go backwards into the goals and the Ikigai stuff. Probably tomorrow. Today, we're just going to learn these 2 basic tables. Anything more, I'm afraid you'll become overwhelmed and exhausted. So, finishing up this table video, And we're talking about relating databases. So I'm going to click here by the tasks and I'm going to turn that. I'm going to add a full page table is what I meant to say. And I'm going to call it all tasks. Now here's what's interesting. It may have made sense that the projects were all in one table, but what you're going to realize is all the tasks are going to be here, and they might be for the ebook, they might be for the online course, they might be for the email list, and it's all in one database. So that's where it can get confusing, but that's where the power is unlocked. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write out some tasks for the online course. What might those be? Well, I think it would be something like as the follows. Create content chapters, record course videos, develop course PDF, create course sales page, create promotional materials, launch, review. Okay. These are some general tasks that you may need to do when you create an online course. So what is the point of all this? Well, let's also create that same status tab really quickly. And when you enter them in, when you type them, you can create them. Unfortunately, because this is not truly related to the other table, we've got to also change the colors over here. It's okay. It's kind of fun. It doesn't take long. I'm going to create a few more tasks for the ebook. And you'll see why that's important. Ebook, brainstorm idea, write first draft, edit first draft, write second draft, send to professional editor, create ebook cover, create PDF, set up landing page for ebook, download, set up email automation for opt-ins. Lots. That's why this is important. We're in a business where things aren't that hard to do, but if you know what to do, you can save a lot of time. Okay, so this is the first relationship you're going to have in Notion right here. This is your first time doing that. So let's relate. Let's say I want to now connect the tasks with the appropriate project. The choice is under the columns, not the basics, but to scroll down and click relation. Relate that. Select a database, all projects. Now, I only have a few here, so it's populating them automatically. When you have a lot more, you search. And that's why I like to put the word all in front, because it helps me find my core databases. Now, once I create a relation, what I'm trying to do now is associate the correct project with the correct task. And this is the project management work that you do up front that keeps you organized down the road as things get tough. It's all the work up front and payoff at the end. Project management is heavy up front. You have to understand that. But once you get into this, you get fast. Here, this one is for the ebook. I'm not going to select the same one. I'm going to select the ebook. And I'm just highlighting it and using my arrow keys and pasting it below to save time. And now I've just attributed the project with the task. What does that even do? Well, now we can do something interesting, is we can go into a new column and we can go to roll up. Once you have a relationship, you can have a roll up. And the roll up allows you to call other information. So configuring this roll up, and I'll redo this as it's very fast, I can select the project relation, and then I can call in things like the manager or the by when automatically. Now that's not perfect because these are individual tasks and they may have their own dates. But the point is you can start doing these interesting things. We can see the project status, right? Okay, is that useful? Not really, but notice it's calling information from a different database. Right? So someone who's been assigned the task, and you have to look at this as like something for teams, right? It's not just for you as well. You have to know the power of project management is for teams. The more people, the more complex. Let's delete that and do that again. Because once you understand this, it will make a lot more sense as we go. The goal here is to relate two databases of information and connect things. And by connecting them, each individual thing can pull from further. You can pull different types of info into one hub. And that's how we slowly build the command center. We make all these different databases, we link them all up, and then we view them in very specific ways that give you a Commander-esque feel of your information. Plus sign to create a new column. Property type, scrolling down to relation, selecting the database you want to relate. The first one and only one we have is the projects. And then as soon as we do that, we can see the different projects available. Let's go over to projects. Let's quickly add something else. Let's call it sales page. And this will be to do. And this will be for tomorrow. And this will be for Rich UX. Oh, note what's over here now. Whenever you create a relationship, it automatically creates the other related column because now I can actually set the tasks over here, vice versa. Online course, create content chapters, record videos. And just like that, I added all the tasks very quickly to the project. So there is some speed hacks here. Okay, now if I go back to the tasks, it's already been set for me, right? Look what happened here. I accidentally set multiple tasks or multiple projects under launch. This is not correct. It's not meant to be the online course. You wouldn't have one task in two projects. Notice that when I go back to projects, watch what I can do on this side now. See how these tasks are all located here? I could kind of close them by wrapping the cells and I wouldn't see them. Because do I really need to see my tasks when I'm in my projects? Not really. So instead, what I might want to do is click the column here. Choose a roll up. I want to roll up all tasks, this column right here, and it's not about the name. I want to use count all. And now it tells me number of tasks. Now, is this critical to every person building? Not really, because either you do it or you don't, whether there's 50 tasks or one. But sometimes it is nice to know. Sometimes it is nice to know. And we can get a little bit more advanced. Okay, but we're probably not going to do that yet. But I just want to see how I came back to the project side The column was already here, which I can, make it more clear. And then I rolled up the information, which probably didn't make sense, but notice that number represents how many items are here. It's taking data, configure rollup, take the name, and count how many names there are. You could also show the unique values. You could count values. You can count empty. There's different ways to do all this. I'm just showing you a basic count all feature. Wow, we've learned a lot already. This is very important. That is it for relational databases. I believe I made it very clear how to take two full-page databases, connect them through a column, configure it by selecting the appropriate database. Then you have to link things. It's not automatically linked. You have to link them yourself. And that was quite easy because when you do a relation, once you click inside, you can only choose from the options from the other table that's related. I want to leave you guys with something special that will let you think about for the next 24 hours until we meet again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Any questions at this time? You guys still with me? Let's see who's here. Can you type in the chat? I want to know who's still here. I want to know who's committed to learning. I suggest you build it out yourself because you'll understand every element instead of like, why do we do this? When we build the foundation, it's very clear why things are the way they are. When you take and you just adopt, you don't even know how it got that way. By doing it and we going through this step by step, it will become very clear. Question is this a monthly subscription service? Yes. Yes, but it's free to start. It's free, but if you're doing what I'm doing, you're going to eventually want to pay the $12 a month or what it is. Slack is a communications tool, and Notion is more of a catalog. It's a knowledge base. It's to put something down once for all and stick with it. Slack is not a library. This is a library. This is your brain on the internet. Okay. I definitely use it with my team, and I can show you ways to, without spending money, link people in. Sometimes it's an extra step. It depends if you're going to, if you want to do that, you want to save money, I wouldn't put your personal stuff in here, but just your work-related workspace. But you can have, there's so many ways. There's so many ways to adjust all this. Okay. So this is something you're going to kind of want to do right now or pretty quick so it stays with you. This does not necessarily eliminate Excel. Excel has very good use cases still. And notice Excel is not a database. It's a spreadsheet. Those are actually different things. A database is when information is going to continue to come. An Excel spreadsheet might just be more for calculating things. There's a lot of different things you might use it for. It has its own custom formulas. How you link them in is very important, yes. Okay, great. Sounds like everyone's doing pretty well. Let's jump back in. All right. In this video, I'm going to do something kind of fun. It's part of this, but it's a little different. You're going to create a full page table and you're going to call it Ikigai. Now, the first thing you want to do is set up the tags. You need 4 tags, and this is one time we're going to do multi-select. Okay, we're going to use multi-select this time. Now, the tags are, the Ikigai elements. Good at, paid for, helps others, enjoy doing. Okay, you have 4 tags. And the goal is to figure out what you like and do that has them all. Okay, we're going to put another table here called Can You Make Content? Because that's such an important part of this. Okay, now here's how you do it. You can delete all these to start. So the way I would do this is start typing things in about what you do right now, just to see if you're already in your Ikigai. Things that you like to do that you do right now, the main things of what you do. So I would write it out like this: digital marketing, setting up online businesses, YouTube tutorials, project management. These are the things I do now. You first inspect what you do now. Let's make a note of it. What you do now. Okay. You then create another segment of things that you are thinking of doing that you don't do yet. This is an exercise. You want to go through this. So maybe it's like, I don't know, high-end Facebook ads, StarCraft 2 tournament director, video game live streams, drinking, coffee related videos. No, that's not what I meant. Sorry. I got crossed up. Let's just stop there. We'll do a next section after this. But what I want you to do, and I hope you have Notion nearby and you can kind of start doing this because it's so simple to get this first exercise done. And you keep creating little chunks. It can create any chunk you want. But what you do is you go in and you're like, okay, I'm good at this. I can get paid for. This helps and I enjoy doing it. Okay, good. How about this one? I'm pretty good at that. I can get paid for that. I can help others doing that, and I enjoy doing that. Okay, good. YouTube tutorials. I'm not bad. I guess I'm good at it. Can I get paid for it? I don't know. Maybe not. Does it help others? Hopefully. Do I enjoy doing it? Yes. Paid for, it's questionable, depending on what you consider paid for. Project management. Are you good at it? Sure. You get paid for it? Yeah. Does it help others? Not really. Do I enjoy doing it? Meh, I guess. Okay. Live streaming. Good at, paid for, helps others, enjoy doing it. High-end Facebook ads. Am I that good at that? Maybe not. I can get paid for it. Does it help others? I guess it will help your client. Does it really help a lot of people? Not really. Do I enjoy that pressure? Not really. How about StarCraft tournament director? Am I good at that? No. Can I get paid for that? No. Does that help others? No, but I would definitely enjoy doing that. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I need to stop thinking about these things because they're not in my Ikigai. I need to focus on the things that have the 4 set, right? And then you ask yourself, well, can I make content about this? And I think the answer is like, kind of yes, for a lot of things. And that to me is the key. This is a quick way to use a table, use these little basic features, see what you're doing. Do they fall under the 4 categories? And if there's content making available, you need to think about that because that is an unlock to be able to do that. You will get so much more business if you can figure out how to create content around your Ikigai. Let's create some other random stuff that I'm not necessarily good at that we could put in here, okay? Like you should go through your whole life and literally write every single thing down that you do. Like even if it's walking, you should write that down. You should write down sleeping because then you'll at least know, okay, when I'm sleeping, I'm good at that. I enjoy that. That's fine. That's true. But it's not your Ikigai, so you shouldn't spend that much time thinking about it. Jiu-jitsu, not good at it. I cannot get paid for it. It does not help others for me, and I do not enjoy it. Meditation, I'm not sure I can click any of these confidently. Astrology, sure, I like looking about astrology. Photography, I'm good at it. I kind of enjoy it, yes. You see, that's great that I'm learning and gaining awareness about who I am with this simple exercise. And then I say, can I make content? You know? And you decide. Do you have an idea that you can link content with your hobby? Okay. And maybe you get more specific, right? Maybe you're like talking about, and then you put your expertise. It could be that simple, right? For me, it's talking about digital marketing is my Ikigai because I'm good at talking about my expertise. It helps people learn and I can get paid for it. And I enjoy talking about it because it's also my passion. And for many of you, this is also the path because you're going to be good at your own expertise, maybe develop your speaking skills. You can always get paid for expertises if you're going to transmit them online. It obviously helps others because you're helping beginners become experts and hopefully you enjoy doing it. And if you're talking about something, you can always create content about it. Does that make sense? Is this helpful? Are you going to do this? Well, it's up to you. Okay, let's get this stream wrapped up with final questions about this exercise. And then tomorrow we're going to be like going hard into developing the COMMANDR build out and all the pieces are going to start falling into place. And you're going to learn about the final core element, which is called view development. Notice over here, I can create a view. And let's say I want to see my actual Ikigai. And so now I have another view and then I make a filter. And in that filter, I want the tags to contain that. And then I'm going to duplicate this and I want it to contain that. And then I'm going to duplicate this and I want to contain that. And I'm going to duplicate this. And I want it to contain that. And then I'm going to select and. Okay, so I filtered to have all 4, and now I'm in a separate view versus the exercise quickly into my actual Ikigai. I should only be doing this. I should only be doing this. I should be thinking about this all the time. All the money, all my value, all the help for others is coming from your Ikigai. If you keep leaving out one of these, you're either going to be poor, you're going to feel unsatisfied, you're going to feel frustrated, or you're going to get bored. So tomorrow, I'm going to show you more about these views. We might do things like going into some of the other modes. There's a board mode. There is a timeline mode, which is brand new. It's pretty cool. You can basically, plot all these different database information, which is nice. We have a list view, which can be great for a lighter look at things. All right, guys. So that's going to do it today for the first day 1 of the workshop. I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you come back tomorrow to see how this comes all together, because you just couldn't learn it all in one day. It took me weeks of experimentation to learn these different things. There's just no way. So how are we feeling out there? I'll answer a few more questions and then we're going to get going for the day. Question is, thoughts on Notion versus Airtable on project management. I do like Airtable for pure project management, but project management is only one thing we do. So you can either combine, but the more I do this, the more I prefer it all in one place. And I also think Airtable is very limited in the way it presents its data. It's very fixed. You can't customize it a lot. You have very little choice around that. I think Notion, with its beautification, the aesthetics, is what puts it over the top. It's the fluidity of the columns. It's the fact that the database is there. The future of SaaS is always all in one. That's also I'm a big fan of Kartra. It's all in one. Look, is it good enough? Do you need maybe a few extra things? Probably. But when you're all in one and it's good, you really can't beat the price and the integration of both the features and the analytics. So that's how I feel. I mean, I use Airtable for a few things, but I don't take it that seriously, and I'd be happy to move over in a split second. I have nightmares, however, that the Notion servers get deleted and I lose the efforts I've put in. Now, my hope is that a $2 billion company is putting in some protection measures, but it'd be pretty sad. And so I'm thinking about how to start moving some of that information off in a secondary database, but I honestly haven't done that. And that's a pretty low percentage thing happening. We good? All I can say during these times, the ups and downs, the questions, the confusion, the concerns, the only thing I can ever say, and I continue to say it, may the algorithms be ever in your favor. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow back here at 4 p.m. Pacific. This is still the most important thing that should be on your mind for the rest of the week. I hope to see you back here tomorrow.